Hey, it's Seb from Osc Sytrus here again, and in this video you're gonna find out how to make a sub bass in FL Studio with the 3x Osc and with the Sytrus plugin. So if you don't know what sub basses are, a sub bass is the lowest fundamental frequency of a sound. So usually you will find sub basses in the bottom of kicks or just bass lines in general, and the sub bass really gives your track that meets that heaviness that you're seeking, and it needs to be tight, it needs to be heavy, and that's what we're gonna look at. That's what we're gonna find out how to make that. So stay tuned, watch until the end so you get all the information you need to make your own heavy sub basses. So let's begin. First, just open FL Studio, go to the menu and click Add. Then find the 3x Osc and open it. Now, the next thing you want to do is just leave all these wave shapes as they are. Just select the sine wave and lower the chords here at the oscillator 1 to 0. This one, keep it at 12, and this one, just put it at 19 for now. We'll discuss this later, but for now, continue and move the mix level down to 0 and this one also to 0. So that means only oscillator 1 is playing now, and we're gonna play a sub bass with oscillator 1. Now, if you want to learn more about how a synthesizer works, what all these settings do and mean, why you should use them, you can now get the Sound Design for Beginners guide via the link in the description down below, and I will take you step by step through all the essential synthesizer settings that you simply need to know if you're a little bit serious about music production. So click the link in the description down below and let's start immediately. Now you can close the 3x Osc and then right click on the 3x Osc in the channel rack and then select piano roll and just go down to G3, that's here, and just draw a note like this. That's it, that's all you need to do. Then we can close it again. Then we go to the playlist, and what you just want to do is just put the pattern where you drew the note in here and play it. So I already did that, so you can now listen to it, and it sounds like this. Now you do need to have good speakers that play that frequency, because it's a sub bass, so if it's too low and your speakers are not that good of quality, you won't hear it. So if you're on a laptop or something like that, put in some headphones so that you can really hear it. It's a bit quiet, so let's turn up the volume here a little bit. Also, go to the 3x Osc again. Hit this icon here, then go to the envelope section, and let's just give it a quick volume envelope so it fades out nicely. So just follow me, just close the attack, open the hold, close the decay, close the sustain, and right click on the release and set it to 4 steps. It already was at 4 steps, but then you have an ID. And when we play it now, it sounds like this. Now, you don't really hear the sound, but you more likely feel this sound. So if you have good speakers and you turn up the volume, you really feel the pressure in the room. So that is very important. You want to make sure that that's good. So let's continue. Let's put this one to mixer track 1. Just click this box and put it to mixer track 1. And then open the mixer via view and a mixer. And this is insert track 1, you can select it. And click on an empty slot. And open the Fruity Parametric EQ2. That's this one. Now, we're not going to use this equalizer, we're just going to look on the equalizer. So when we play it now, it looks like this. Just watch here. So as you can see, the sub-bass really nests around this fundamental frequency here, and in this case it's around 49 Hz. We selected a G note on the piano roll, and the G note has a fundamental frequency of 49 Hz. You could put it even lower, then it goes to 24 Hz or something like that, but that's just too low. That doesn't sound good anymore. It only messes up your mix when you go into that area. So the lowest fundamental frequency is for the G note at 49 Hz. And an equalizer can, or an analyzer in general, can help you see that. So that's what I wanted to show you, but we're not done yet. It's like when you're making a kick or making a bass, you're not only playing the fundamental frequency, you also play frequencies that go on top there. These are called harmonics, and the harmonics are important to fill out the bass frequencies in your track, but they do need to have a certain balance, and they also need to be tight. So let's quickly take a look at how we can keep this waveform tight, because it's tight now, and still add in some extra harmonics, extra bass harmonics. So the way to do that is just go to the 3x Osc, like back here to the 3x Osc, and use oscillator 2 and oscillator 3 to add in some harmonics. So the way to do that is simply use the mix level here and turn it up a little bit. So I'll play it, I'll turn it up a little bit, and you can take a listen to the bass frequencies and how they change. So let's do that right now. Now I just put it around 25% or something like that. In the end you will have to find your own sweet spot and your own balance you like most, and it also depends on how your kick and your bass line work together with a sub bass like this. So that's not necessarily a right or wrong way of doing things. Just keep in mind that the more bass frequencies in general you have, the more it eats up your headroom. So you want to remain like a good balance between all the harmonics. Now additionally, we can go for another harmonic on top of that by using the third oscillator. That's this one here, and also give it a slight mix level. So let's play it again and just take a listen to what happens. Now, as you can hear, adding in some different harmonics also changes the feel of the bass. So when we're looking at an analyzer, let me help you with that. Let's say we're opening the wave candy here, and in this field, like here, we can see the waveform and we can see how tight it is. And with tightness, we mean like, does it stay centered? Does it stay centered, and how does the waveform look like a sausage? So when we play it, let me change it. As you can see, the waveform stays exactly centered and it is exactly a sausage. So it's like a perfect sub bass, because the more center it is, the louder it can be played, the less headroom it eats. It's like, imagine if the bass goes above or below the center line, you still eat the same amount of headroom, yet you have less volume to work with. You have less amplitude to work with, so that eats up unnecessary headroom, and you don't want that. That's why you want to keep the bass tight. You want to keep it tight and strong, and that's very important. So by simply using a synthesizer and to generate a sub bass, you can make sure that it stays centered, that it stays tight, and that it's just a sausage that's very powerful in your track. So if you didn't know that, you now know about it, and feel free to use that because that's very important. And if we want to go beyond that, let's say we want to add some extra bass frequencies that we also want to keep tight, we have to make a choice here. Let me close this. I'm going to show you that right now. Let's close this one also. I'll keep this one open here. Let's keep this one also open. And instead of using the 3x Osc, we can also use the Sytrus. So let's open the Sytrus. Just click Add in the menu. Then find the Sytrus over here. There we have it, that's the Sytrus. And let me expand that a little bit so you have some more view. There we go. Then we are at up 1. Let's move this bar all the way to the left. Then, now let's first start at, click this arrow here. Then click preset and make a default subtractive. There we go. Now over here, remove the filter here. And at 1 over here, select the out over here. So the waveform we produce here will immediately go to our speakers, will immediately go to the mixer. And there's no filter being applied. That's just something we wanted to disable. But for now, let's produce a waveform. Use this slider over here, SH, just for the shape. Move it all the way down, like this. Then we get a typical sine wave over here. And what we can do now is simply draw the harmonics over here. This is basically a harmonic field where we can literally draw harmonics. And that is very powerful. That's not what you see on a lot of synthesizers, but the Sytrus has that option. So let's first bring this back to 1 over here. And this represents already the sub bass. And anything we add onto it will be another harmonic on top of that fundamental frequency. So let's say we give this one about half of the value of this one. Something like that. And let's see if we can play it here. So 1 second, hold on. Let's copy this one. Let's go to a new pattern for the fun of it. And let's play this one over here. It sounds like this right now. Now, for the Sytrus, I have to put the note 1 lower at G2 in this case. Because I could already see on the equalizer that it's playing too high. It was around 100 Hz, like 98 Hz. And we wanted to go back to 49 because that's the fundamental frequency of a G note. So let's play it now. There we have something. Let's open the Sytrus again. Okay, and now let's just quickly draw some harmonics in here. Turn up the volume a little bit. Now, of course, the sub bass needs to be shaped a little bit more with an envelope so that you have a fade in and a fade out sound. But that's not really the point for this video right now. What the point is that, like, as you can see on the wave candy here, at the waveform, it stays very tight and centered, which is good, which is powerful. That's what we want. And also you can see on the equalizer over here that there are many different lower harmonics that start to appear. So let's look at that again. And this is a very powerful way to create sub basses, which not many people are either know about or are using. So you're maybe one of the few who knows this little trick, this little secret. And I've used this secret a lot in my songs, in my snippets, in my kicks, and it works really well. And I invite you to also try this out and to implement it in your kick building, in your bass building, and in your song building. Let's give you a final tip. Let's say if you're ready with your sub bass, let's pick this one for example. Let's say this is your sub bass. What you can do is then just open the mixer and let's say just go to the master channel, click an empty slot and open Edison. There is Edison. And you can record your bassline. So press the record button over here, the play button in FL Studio, then just click stop. And let me clean this up quickly, like this, and like this. I'm just doing this quickly just to show you. There we go. And when we play it, you have your sample ready to be exported. You can save it as a sample over here. And when you have it as a sample, you can just put it in your kick layering, put it in your track, whatever you want to do with it, but then you have it as a sample. So that's usually how you can go about it. If you want more videos like this, if you like this type of content, make sure to subscribe. Also hit that notification bell. That ensures that you don't miss any future videos that I'm planning to put out. If you have any questions, just drop it down below. I'll make sure to look into it. Now don't forget to grab the sound design for beginner's guide in the description down below. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.